you need to strategically determine whether acquisition, expansion, or retention activities and programs must be the focus of your marketing strategy to make your customer portfolio more profitable.
Welcome to Virtually Live, the podcast. Every week, we'll get into the latest and greatest in marketing, and specifically event marketing, audience engagement, and brand experience. To guide us through that, we've invited event professionals and marketing leaders from various industries. In this week's episode, join Daniel Simon, Vice President of Strategic Marketing at Here Technologies, as he talks to Kaltura's VP Growth, Roe Kaufman, about the race for brand awareness with real-world examples from Here's brand positioning. Let's go!
Hi guys, I'm Roe Kaufman, VP Growth at Kaltura, and I'm coming to you virtually live from Kaltura offices here in Tel Aviv. I'm all about numbers, dashboards, and bottom line results. And even I know that in 2022, the way to get to those marketing results is through brand awareness, and lots of it. With me today is Daniel Simon, Here Technologies VP and Head of Strategic Marketing, to share his thoughts and experience around that. Starting all the way from his days at international car shows to the virtual events and last few years where he spearheaded Here's repositioning. Daniel, where are you joining us virtually live from?
Hi, Roy. Thanks for having me. Well, you're catching me here in Berlin at my family home in our living room. All that is possible by having virtual events, right?
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. And I'm super happy you were able to join us today. And on a personal note, I'm very happy since I'm also a Here former employee. So it's great to catch up and to hear a little bit how is it going on the event side of at Here. So let's
Absolutely.
start. Yeah, thank you. So let's start with the definition of how do you see brand positioning and why is it so important to invest in it as a strategy, right? And how does it help to bring more leads and to build a pipeline for sales?
Okay, great. Let's start with that. So if you ask me about my definition or a definition of brand positioning, it is actually one of the three essential parts of a marketing strategy's foundation. So based on a deep understanding and knowledge about the customer segments you want to, and that you actually also can target, the positioning clearly summarizes your value proposition. So in other words, what kind of value or benefit do you offer to which customer segments based on their needs? So segmentation, targeting, and positioning are the three elements of strategically defining the value a brand creates, a value a brand provides to the customers. And therefore, a brand positioning must always concretely answer the following three questions in a short and concise way. Who are your customers? What are the benefits you are selling to them? What is the value that you provide? And why should the customers choose you? What's your differentiation? And what are your reasons to believe? So these three main elements are covered and need to be covered by a clear and concise brand positioning.
Great. So thank you for that. And let's take those through bullets and try to go a little bit deeper. So you've sharpened the brand positioning at Here Technologies a few years ago. If you can reflect on that positioning with those bullets, I would say, what changed and why in this move that you've made, and how did you carry out the repositioning?
So Here Technologies has a very clear and strong mission as a company, which is providing the most complete, accurate, and easy to use digital representation of the physical world. So this is what we do as a company, building the best location technology and digital maps you can get. But as I said, a brand needs to be positioned with a customer's the benefits and the differentiation in mind. So to say it harsh, maybe customers don't care about a company mission. They care about the value a brand can provide them with based on the needs and preferences they have. So therefore, we developed a brand strategy that defines what we promise to our customers, whether it's customers in the automotive industry, logistics, supply chain, fleet management. Those are the markets that we are mainly targeting. And what value do we provide for them? What differentiates us from our competitors? And what kind of brand personality do we also have? And we modeled our brand architecture as a branded house with very specific guidelines, for example, also for naming. And talking about differentiation and giving you an example for that very important differentiation part as part of the positioning. Why should customers choose us in those segments? We are a privacy by design platform. This means that our customers fully control their data and IP. We are not in the business of selling ads. We are not monetizing our customers' data or their customers' data. Secondly, the completeness and quality of our location data and map content is unmatched. And analysts continuously confirm that. And our customers can also bring their own data to our platform for their tailored solutions. And last but not least, as a third differentiation aspect, we are a partner for really co-creating industry-specific bespoke solutions. Unlike some of our competitors, who mostly offer products off the rack in many cases.
Nice. Cool. So assuming we have all that and we have a clear positioning, what are the tool tips or the tools that at our disposal to drive brand awareness? How do events fit in all that, right? And how do in-person and virtual events compare in that sense? So would you go more for brand awareness on physical events versus virtual events? How do you balance between them?
Okay. Well, I think first of all, it is to determine what you are alluding to. I think it is prerequisite and super important to deeply understand the decision-making process of your targeted customer segments. So, for example, is it a low involvement or high involvement decision to buy your product or service? Is there only one decision maker, or is it a decision-making group? Who are the influencers? How long does the decision-making process take in the segments that you are targeting? Does the buying decision for your product or service compete with other purchase decisions, for example, that don't have anything to do with the category that you are operating in? So once you really deeply understand this decision-making process and the personas involved in that process, you can then determine which are the tactics, which are the channels, and the touch points, which are the messages that are best suited to drive awareness. And that can differ depending on your product, your service, your market. In our marketing strategy, we have defined that for the upper funnel goals, driving awareness, also driving familiarity with our brand. When it comes to paid media tactics, we mainly use contextual ads and native ads in industry-specific publications, bespoke sponsorships with media publishers, paid social media, of course, and if our budgets allow, also out of home at important event venues. But also owned and earned media approaches help to drive and maintain awareness. Owned media, especially for retention purposes, when a relationship has been established already. And as I would say, as a rough rule of thumb, you could say that the more your marketing strategy focuses on new customer acquisition, the more you must invest in paid media tactics to grow awareness and to broaden your funnel.
So maybe one of the best examples for that would be CES, one of the largest tech events, right, in the world. I know here participated a few years in that, and last year was mainly virtual. So maybe you can share a little bit of that as an example of how did you see the impact on brand awareness, generally speaking, about participating in CES and when here just went virtually on the CES event.
Of course. So you asked specifically about CES, but let me also quickly, in general, address events and what role events are playing for us. So in our case, that we know that for many of the customer segments that we are targeting, some of the big trade shows and conferences are part of their decision-making journey when they are deciding to do a purchase. CES, for example, definitely for the automotive industry, but also for the tech world in general. It's probably also most of the attendees at this event here know. But we have also found that those large industry and tech events where we are meeting our audiences are hard to be leveraged for acquiring completely new leads that then turn into opportunities quickly. So therefore, we use these events twofold, and also CES, by the way. We are educating a broader audience, the media, analysts, politicians, influencers, and consumers about location technology, what location technology can do for the transformation of businesses and society, but also about our value proposition and our offering. While at the same time, and that's the second pillar, at the same time, we are meeting our existing customers in person to influence cross-sell and upsell decisions, and also retaining these customers. So the awareness aspect, to a large extent for us, gets amplified by dedicated media and analyst relation activities, and the general buzz that gets created, for example, at CES, and the large attendance. But again, CES at the same time also brings the opportunity for us to meet many of our customers, and to have dedicated meetings, to have conversations that you usually have further down in the funnel.
So just to make sure I understand you right, you say that large events, especially like CES and others, contribute to the entire funnel, and not only top of the funnel, also for
Right.
opportunities and closing those opportunities. So it's a major factor to drive the entire pipeline, and not just the awareness part on top of it, as well as new business and existing customers together, correct?
Absolutely. So we are definitely also looking at the pipeline, the opportunities that gets created, or that is influenced by this marketing touch point. And that's also why we have to be very diligent with selecting the events that we are going to. We need to be sure, based on the decision-making process in our targeted customer segments, that we are actually meeting our customers there. So we are not going to any event just to do prospecting, let's say.
Got it. We don't have much time left, but I would love to hear your thoughts on what are the main takeaways you have when you're approaching 2023 in defining the budget and the budget allocation to events, physical versus virtual, in terms of costs, ROI, and environmental impact that virtual events has in favor, and kind of guidelines, when we're approaching now 2023.
So we look at the role an event is supposed to play in our overall mix of activities as reaching our prospects and customers. So the question is, how can that event contribute to the objectives and our integrated programs? How does it fit into our integrated programs? Is it supposed to support acquisition goals? Is it supposed to support expansion goals, cross-sell, upsell, or is it supposed to support retention goals? So whether it's upper funnel or lower funnel objectives, and the ROI is determined based on those objectives. So this is the general strategic red thread for us when we think about the events that we are going to, but also about the formats, whether it's virtual, hybrid, or an in-person event, a live event. And of course, when it comes to ROI, we do visitor research, we are monitoring media and analyst coverage, we are collecting contacts, qualifying leads, look at the number of meetings with customers, the number and the quality of our showcase presentations. And we also track the number and the volume of opportunities created from that event touch point as part of our overall attribution model for demand generation. And this is the baseline also then for the planning for the next year. So based on what we learned with regards to those goals and KPIs I just mentioned, we are looking at the customer segments we want to focus on in 2023 again. And we figure out what are the best events where we meet those audiences.
Interesting. Cool. So before we say goodbye, you're currently participating in an exclusive CMO education program at Columbia University, right? And you're there along with peers, colleagues from around the world. Based on what you've been seeing and hearing there, what can you tell us about the major challenges and trends in the strategic marketing world right now?
Okay. Well, I'd say the main trend, but also challenge, is the path to true customer centricity based on data analytics. Changing companies from being product-led to being truly customer-led, managing the customer portfolio to grow the profitability of customers, treating customers as assets, and know exactly the value of your customer portfolio is the strategic shift that marketing is driving. And marketing must change from being product-led to being customer-led. And that is possible based on customer data, based on market data, based on data analytics that we can do today. Based on that deep understanding of your customer portfolio and the customer life cycle, you need to strategically determine whether acquisition, expansion, or retention activities and programs must be the focus of your marketing strategy to make your customer portfolio more profitable, to grow the value of this most important asset you have as a company, and that's called the customer, right? And when it comes to challenges, it is, I think, the struggle of making sense of all the data you have today. And that you also need to generate insights from to be really customer centric. I think in many cases, KPIs are not aligned and sometimes even contradicting in organizations. And sometimes different units and different departments are chasing vanity KPIs that don't really contribute to managing your customer portfolio for profitability. But this data analytics, insights, and KPI discussion would obviously warrant a full session, as you probably also best know yourself. I don't think that we have time for that now.
I would love to spare another session and to deep dive into those KPIs. As we said, numbers and is super interesting and important thing in the globe of marketing. So, Daniel, thank you so much for your time and for your inspiring insights. And I hope to see you around in the upcoming events. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Bye, Roy. It was a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Danielle Simon and Roy Kaufman, for joining us today. And thank you for tuning in. To give you a little taste of what's coming next week, here's 7 questions in events with Sophie Meller, EMEA Events Program Manager at AWS.
Welcome to 7 Questions in Events. 7 questions with industry expert Sophie Meller. No time to waste, let's go. What's the one thing you want your attendees to get out of your events?
The most important thing for me is that they walk away having learned something new.
That's a good one. What's your favorite way to engage with your audience?
I would have to say definitely a live Q&A at the end of a session, like on camera with the speakers.
Nice. Who would your dream keynote speaker be? No restrictions at all.
This is a tricky one. I think 2 people come to mind. Sir David Attenborough, for those that know him. I'm working on a sustainability event at the moment, and we said how awesome it would be to have David Attenborough there. If he's not available, I'd probably go for Michelle Obama.
Amazing answer. Which trend in virtual events are you most looking forward to?
I think I'm looking forward to seeing how the hybrid trend continues to grow. You know, I think certainly we're seeing it, how we're starting to look at new ways that we can engage our audience, and hybrid is definitely up there.
Interesting. What's an event marketing pitfall people should watch out for?
I think one of the most important ones for me is actually paying attention to the customer feedback. You know, we do these extensive surveys at the end of events, and it's very easy. It's a lot of data. It's very easy at the end of an event to forget about it. I mean, you look at your CSATs, but do you dive deep into the nitty-gritty details? I think for me, that's super important.
Agree. What's your go-to source for personal development info in terms of events and marketing?
I have to say, I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. I love seeing people share articles, write their own posts on LinkedIn. And, you know, if you like something on me on LinkedIn and I follow you, then I see what you've liked. I think it's a really great way of broadening your network and seeing different posts and resources.
It's true. And last one, shout out another event professional.
This would have to be Clarice Furtado, who is one of my long-standing colleagues at AWS. We've worked on a ton of virtual events together. We grew in virtual events together, and now she's doing an awesome job working in still in the same team as me, but handling partner events. So yeah, that's to you, Clarice.